Welcome to episode 3 of the Plus One Show.
Welcome back.
I'm Jacqueline Johnson.
I'm Allie Webb.
All right, today we're talking about present day.
Oh,
We
no.
talked a little bit about how we got here, like historically, like in terms of like what's happening in culture, all those things, but also just like us generally.
Yeah.
We talked about our past relationships, what we've learned, what we're bringing into the future, all of those good things. So today we're talking about like what we're up to today.
Yeah, you start.
Oh God, okay. So I'm 2 years divorced, like heading into year 3, like
Okay.
basically.
Have you had any like
No
long-term relationships since?
No relationships,
Anything?
nothing.
Wow. But you dated people.
Dated people. So I would say year 1 was really figuring it out. Like
Yeah.
figuring out dating in general, making a ton of mistakes, thinking I was like in love with people immediately.
What was the longest that you dated somebody?
Great question. I would say like 2 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, my thing for a while was like the third date curse. I could never get to a third date.
Wow.
Which is crazy because it's like, I feel like it was twofold. One was like I was splitting time between Napa and LA. So I think that was part of it.
weren't
And it's
available.
challenging. And I wasn't like here. So like weeks would go by, months. And like I do think at the beginning of a relationship, it is about intensity and cadence and like making it continue
Yeah,
going.
totally.
So I think that's definitely part of it, which I like completely was not doing at all. So that was definitely part of it. I would say also I was still too naive and romantic, like year 1, honestly. Like I genuinely was just like in this place where I kept thinking, I was too naive. And I'm happy I was. I was way too vulnerable at the gate. I was way too like, this is perfect. We're going to like be together forever. I was Allie. Just kidding.
We're going to ride off into the sunset and have 6
gorgeous.
kids.
And then after year 1 of like getting burned.
Was this like the love bombing? And
The
stuff?
love
Yeah.
bombing, just like, also one of the most, like, I would say the best, quote unquote dating experience I had, which was like the 2 to 3 month one, was with that guy that was like the best
chef?
sex. No, fuck the chef.
Fuck the
no,
chef.
the best sex I ever had, the dancer.
No chef.
Yeah, no chef.
Yeah.
The dancer. Remember?
The dancer?
He was like a Juilliard dancer. And then, yeah.
Well, no wonder why the sex was so good.
Yeah, well, exactly. But
I don't know
also,
what that
like,
means.
from day 1, he was like, it wasn't like he was explicitly like, I'm not looking for a relationship, but he was like, I'm not like in a place right now where I'm like, and of course, little me was like, I could change that.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll show you.
Sit back and watch.
I also don't understand that logic. I'm like, what do you mean? What does it even fucking mean? Like you're not in a place. Like
No.
love is like the greatest gift in all the land. Like why would you not?
Let me introduce you to I'm not in the place because I meet all of them. If I hear another like work is so crazy, I'm like, I run
Did you meet
2
them
companies.
on dating apps?
Yeah, combos.
Why the fuck are you on dating apps? If
Get
you're
the
not
fuck
ready?
off the dating app.
Get the fuck off the dating app.
Literally. But at least he was transparent. I just like was an idiot and was like, this is, watch me do this, like whatever. But all my friends said you're dickmatized. That was it. Like,
What does that
which
mean?
is so like, it's not about the person. It's just about the sex. And you're like obsessed with that.
Oh wait, so
you're
you're having sex
dickmatized.
with them and like the second date?
Oh, no. I'm talking about still about the ballerina.
Oh, right. Sorry. Okay, 2
I love
months. I'm
calling
like
them the
maybe
ballerina.
like let's talk about
No.
that.
Well, no.
We should
I
have
would
an
say,
episode like when is too
for
soon
sure.
to have sex.
This leads me into a really good stat that I like, not stat, just like someone said this and I was like, this is so fucking true. So basically they were saying men historically hold the power of a relationship. Like they're going to ask you to be in the relationship. They're going to ask you to marry them. It's like the man dictates when you are exclusive.
Dictates.
Dickmatize. Like what else is a joke I could make? A penis pun. No, but basically they choose that.
Yeah.
Women decide when you have sex. So we hold
Yeah.
the power with sex. They hold the power with relationships, which is really interesting because I want to believe as a progressive feminist woman of the world, you could have sex with someone on the first date and end up married. Like, I don't think it's like, that's what I thought. I was always like, who fucking cares? If it's there, it's there. If you've been talking, like whatever. I think it's like not a big deal. Sadly, I don't think that's the world we live in. I think you have to wait.
I mean, can I ask and we can cut this? Like,
Yeah.
have you had a lot of sex on the first date?
No, not really. But I have, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I
not
have too,
a
but
lot.
Not regularly.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
regularly. Not anymore, that's for sure. But like
Yeah.
I think year 1,
I'm like sometimes like, am I even gonna kiss this person?
no, for sure. I'm like, probably not, to
Probably
be
not.
honest. Because I had these like 3-month
talking on the phone, texting. Like it felt like
it
you were
built
further
up.
along.
Yeah, it felt like you were further along. And I was like, no, I should not have. But that was like your one rookie mistakes. Like, you know,
Yeah.
just not knowing.
That's true.
And I think like I basically after that was like, no, never again. And it's been better since then. Because I do think you also weed people out
Yeah.
quickly
From
by,
sex, you
yeah,
mean?
by holding it back. But then also all my friends are like, well, what if the sex is bad? Like you wait so fucking long.
Yeah, you can't wait too long because then you're like, oh, this isn't going to work. And there's no sexual chemistry. That's not going to work either.
There has to be a balance. But I don't know. I'm like, third date feels maybe appropriate.
But also like, yeah, like it depends on like how much you're talking.
Yeah,
and
totally.
All
All the
that.
things
And
that
it's
play into
never
that.
like, I don't think it's like I mean, I think I'm like in the same boat. I feel like this won't surprise you. I've had like a few like long-term relationships. I mean, I'm going into my second year of being divorced. So this May will be 2 years. But like, I also won't surprise you. I kind of jumped the gun and started dating someone probably like 6 months after my divorce or my separation. I only recently got divorced like a couple months ago. Like not even, like it came through the divorce. But it was like 6 months. I started dating somebody who I actually met on an app when we were doing the blueprint when that was that
I
weekend.
remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were dating, but it was like I was a little dodgy about the timing of my separation because you don't really want to get into it with somebody who's like fresh out of a divorce, especially like a heartbreakingly painful one like mine. And so we dated like pretty consistently for like probably like 5 months, like a little off and on, but like 5 months. But I definitely wasn't ready. This is my
Always,
thing.
yeah.
I wasn't ready.
It's cliche because it's true, type thing. But
then I dated somebody else again for like 3 or 4 months. Like I've had,
you have longer stints.
I've had relationships.
I feel like I break people quickly.
I do not. Well, I'm such a hopeless romantic, and I'm like, I think. I try to be like there. Sometimes I feel like I'm really open, and then sometimes I feel like I'm just really not. Like I feel like I'm not very open right now in this particular state. Like I'm like all men suck. I'm not into this, and I know that's not true, but
you have to go in waves. There's
waves.
definitely waves, and I also think like the downtime is actually important.
I know.
To like get off the apps.
And I remember like when you told me you got off the apps, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not in a place where I want to get off the apps. Like I was like into the hunt.
Yeah. Well, if you're into it, that's great. I think like, cause I was like, I had a phase and this was like maybe early last year, I was like, I had like 7 people on the roster.
Yeah.
I was rotating good mornings. I was like, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And I was like, this is correct. I was like, but this is, in my head, I remember being like, this is what it's supposed to be like. You're supposed to have multiple people and sussing it out.
So much. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times like I've been dating. I'm like, did I tell you this story? And they're like, nope. And I was like, are you sure? They're like, no, you definitely didn't tell me. I was like, fuck, I told the other guy that story.
Oh my God.
It's too much to keep up. Like, I'm not like, I don't want to do that. I never like dating multiple people.
Because everyone's like, it's a numbers game. And in my head, I'm like, I hate looking at it that way. If I look at it that way, I'm going to start to resent everything about it and I want to enjoy it. So what I realized is like, and again, I spent the last year, I would say probably from May on, because I had one really bad guy, like, the worst, coming out of a divorce, disaster zone, not ready, but also was like a total psycho. Literally he like flew me out to like look at places with him. Remember, this nightmare. But
yeah.
And then when I was like, should we talk about like if we're dating other people or whatever? And he was like, honestly, he's like, you're the first person. And then we got set up by a friend.
Yeah.
He was like, you're the first person I've met since I've been single. And like, you're amazing. So I just feel like I want to see what else is out there. Cause like if you're the first one, I was like, so glad I could do that for you. I'm going to go get my own hotel room at the Addition and have a girls weekend by myself. Yeah, I never.
I want to see what else is out there.
Cause you're so great. If I can like meet you first, like imagine what else I'll find. I was like, perfect. Love that for you. Goodbye. Also, I was like, I'm a 10.
Yeah,
for
like,
you.
You're like, you don't even know what you just got. Oh my God, that's
insane.
Crazy.
All the time. I had people say like really mean things to me when and I think it's because like, I don't know how to describe it, but this guy, this is the best story. This guy I talked to for like 3 or 4 weeks. We came to LA, went on a date. And initially I was like, am I into it? I can't tell. I wasn't super attracted to him, but there was something about him. Had a good first date, had a great second date. And we're planning the third date. And I could tell I am the biggest, as soon as someone pulls back and I'm like, it's over. My friends are like, what do you mean? He's texting you normal stuff. I was like, I just know. I am like a sensei when it comes to that shit. And I was like, something happened. I talked to him and he's like, Basically it's like I'm a little kid and like all I want is ice cream. Like I just want an ice cream cone. I want an ice cream cone. I want an ice cream cone. I'm like so excited. Like he's like,
Fuck.
no, get ready. He's like, and then I get this beautiful ice cream cone. It's like perfect ice cream cone. I eat the whole ice cream cone and now I have a stomach ache. I was like, that's the metaphor for our
Do you
2 days?
see what we're fucking dealing with?
Wild. Like, and I was like, perfect. Well, I'm gonna hang up now. And he kept being like, well, no, but like, I was like, no, no, no.
Who fucking says that?
Rob.
Fucking Rob. We don't like you, Rob.
No,
I
it
mean,
was amazing. Like, I
feel better, I gotta say,
no,
after this.
girl,
Like,
I'm
I've not had
in
this
the
experience.
trenches. Like, people are so, I was like, are you fucking kidding
But see,
me?
my while we're talking about like the things that have hurt us, it's like for me, I feel like there's plenty of men who want to date me, but the couple of the like few that I want to date, no, like where are those
always
guys?
like that,
It's
though.
yeah, I'm like, oh, I think I'd really like that guy, and then I've had situations where I've met like a guy on an app, and I was like a psycho. I was like, this is gonna be my guy. This is my guy. I'm gonna write off and say he's perfect, And we have this like really great there was this guy that I was talking. I don't even remember his name, but he was like, he lived in Orange County, which you know how I feel about that, and for lots of reasons. And he was like a cowboy. He had like a cowboy hat on his thing. He was so cute, really outspoken, like very masculine. I was like, this is my guy. I think maybe I reached out first, which is also a rule that I'm like, I'm not doing
never.
No. That was the last time I did that.
My friend Morgan said this to me when she, CEO, boss, founder of Blavity, is now married. So happy. She was like, my number one piece of dating advice to you: do less.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't
now
text,
I'm like,
don't whatever.
no more.
Don't
like,
plan.
You got
nothing.
it. Right. Like
do
you
less.
let them. Yeah. Don't plan. Like let them work for it. Exactly. Which now that isn't a very let
Good
that be the
learning. Yeah.
message of this episode is like let the guy work for it. And but this guy like texted me, like we started texting, and he's like, I was like, oh, you live in Orange County. And he's like, we're like, oh, you live in LA. And he was like, what are we going to do? Like when we want to wake up next to each other every day. And I was like, oh my God, I fucking love this guy.
You're on Redfin in like Orange
Yeah,
County.
And then, so we have this like really flirty text, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is amazing. Goes dark. Like, I don't know if he got off the app, like blocked me with the fuck. I'm like, why? What the fuck is wrong? And then I'm like, was he even real? So I've had like things like that happen to me. Like I've got notifications like the person you were talking to has been taken off the app. I'm like,
oh, sorry. Winnie, come here.
Winnie's like, yeah, what a dick.
Yeah, what fuck that guy?
I feel like that's happened to me where like I've gotten notifications like so and so has been like
No, for
terminated
sure.
from the app. I'm like,
I mean, terminated. I'm like, also, were they a catfish? Like, I feel like that's
know.
maybe.
I know. I
Let's
mean-
pretend like they were catfish.
I mean, that's the thing. This one guy, I was like, he's just gone. By the way, I screenshotted his message and like I have his phone number. Like part of me out of curiosity just wants to call him and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I won't. But that's been more the case with me. Like, one of the things my dating coach tells me, which her name is Ludmila, and we need to have her on.
Would love. How did you find her?
Well, she actually reached out to me and she's like, let me help you. And her like specialty is helping women, especially like really successful women who have a hard time like letting a man lead, letting a man do the work. Like she tells me that all the time too, but she was like, and I feel like I've been hearing this a lot. Again, I start from 100 bound to 0. And I'm like, if I get so excited, whatever that means about this guy, because he's got this, he's got this, he's got this, he seems perfect, And so I'm so excited versus like trying to come into a situation that I'm like, oh, maybe, where I'm like, I'll be like, oh, I was really excited about that guy. And she's like, yeah, no more of that. Like that like heightened craziness.
No,
and like
it's not
obsession,
reality.
It's not reality.
It's not reality.
Yeah.
People will show you who they are. So I feel like I've gotten really good at like knocking that back. And like I definitely the reason I hired the matchmaker was I was just spending so much time on Hinge because like I'm an inbox zero girl. So I'm like, I will get through every man in Los Angeles tonight. Like like so crazy. It's like the type A.
See, not me. I get the alerts from I went off Hinge, but I would get the alerts like, you have too many conversations open. We're gonna shut you down.
Oh no way.
You've reached your limit.
You know what's
and I'm like, fuck, I gotta unmatch with some people. Because I'm like, because I think what happens is like at this point now, it's like a lot of guys reach out and then they reach out and then I'm like, I don't think
do I like you? Yeah.
And then I don't respond.
I'm so discerning though. Like I feel like I maybe matched with like 7 people and then like 2 talk to me.
See, I cast a wide net, but then when they come back and then I'm being very judgy for better or worse, I'm like, I don't like what they said. I don't like how they said it. And I'm like, nope. And then I get discerning. Like, let me throw a line and see how it is. And then you come back and I'm like,
Interesting. Opposite strategies. The first thing is everything. If it's just like, how are you? What's going on? The worst. I'm
I
not
hate that
woo-woo.
too.
What kind of energy do you have right now?
No,
What
no,
are
I
you
don't like
most
that either.
excited?
And I
Someone goes,
was-
I'm so mean though. I just am mean. That's my like. It's so funny. Everyone's like, what's exciting you most right now? I'll be like, not this conversation.
I know, I fucking hate that.
Like I will just be a monster to people. Like,
But it's true.
the best
That
though.
is, I'm glad you brought that up because that's another thing. And for hopefully men who are listening to this show, like I actually did this once and a guy just didn't even respond. He went out because he was like, hey, how are you? What's the most exciting thing about your week? Or how's your week? I'm like, you don't fucking know me.
Doesn't
Don't ask me
matter.
about my
Yeah.
week. Like say something really charming to start. Like what?
Yeah.
Like who are these guys getting advice from? Like, hey, how's it going? Great. What are you doing? Like, I don't know you yet. Like,
No, truly.
there's got to be like a courting. Like, say something sweet.
Yeah,
For
this
fuck's
guy
sake.
this week like sent to me. He's like, "That's a real cute smile you're slinging around." Like I thought that was cute.
I like that.
was like, "Oh, I was like, that's sweet."
I like that too. When guys come in and they're like, you know, you seem really amazing. You have a beautiful smile, great pictures. Like, give me something.
Yeah, or like the fact that they read your profile. 'Cause
Right.
my profile is like pretty like. I always try to be like I'm like not here for people looking for validation. Like I'm a psychopath in my profile. Literally, my dating coach is like, we need to work on
I was
this
saying,
because it's
Ludmila,
so mean.
Ludmila made me change my whole profile. She's like, this is way too masculine. You
No,
have to
mine's
change-
so aggressive.
Yeah.
It's like, but I also am like over it. I just don't really fucking care. I'm
I know.
like, whatever.
But that's the other thing is like I've come full circle to
Yeah.
like I also, by the way, think that maybe I manifested the whole dating app thing because I remember when I was married to my first husband, I was like, dating app sounds so fun to shop for men. Like I was like, this seems amazing, and now I'm like, well,
No, I
fucking
fucking
look
hate
what I
it.
wish
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, look
like,
what I-
I don't
it's a
want that
nightmare.
anymore. But now I'm like, I don't want to be on the apps. I only want to meet people through people.
Yeah, I agree. I that's the whole reason I went down this path. But like honestly, these matchmaking dates have been. It was so funny. So the one I went on was a guy who lives in Los Angeles. It was an in-person date. I hate that you don't know anything about them going into it, but like it's fine. 'Cause-
Nothing.
So they only give you their first name,
A picture.
no picture.
Oh my god.
My nightmare.
No.
I walked up, I saw a stack of bracelets, and I thought, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I was like, this is my nightmare. But I was like, be cool, be nice. And he's actually really interesting, very successful, like almost on the level. And he was like, I have 3 kids, 2 2-year-olds, and 1 3-year-old. So immediately I'm like, ooh.
Well, it could be good though. It's like,
But again, not
like add water, instant family.
yeah, but I was like, and I was like, well, tell me about
That's
your wife. And
young.
so 10 years together, same thing. I was like, okay, same thing. He's like, but we had an emotionally non-monogamous relationship. He's like, and she went too far and that slut, blah, blah, blah. And I literally was like,
Oh,
ooh,
no.
I was like, this is devolving. But I was like, so anyway, I was like, tell me about fatherhood. And he goes, and I quote, honestly, it fucking sucks.
And you were like,
Like, check here. But honestly, it was perfect. I like literally have never laughed harder on the drive home. I was like, I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
I mean, truly. But
You're
also,
like,
like,
no.
thank you for showing me exactly who the
You're
fuck
right.
you are, which is someone I do not want to go near.
I feel like a lot of guys that I've gone out with are like they have that like they're I don't know how to say it, but they're like they talk in like they're like yes girl, you know, like
Yeah,
I don't know
feminine
what the-
energy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
no,
tough.
don't be feminine. Like I'm like you don't, and also like don't say that to me. You don't even know me. It's very
Yeah.
feminine. You know,
I dated this one guy here who I like really liked, like on paper, in person, so interesting. Had such I was like, if we get caught in an alley, like I'm fighting the guy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I was like,
there's
you're
been
not
a lot of
yeah.
guys that I've gone out with that are very feminine, and I'm like, you're
tough.
like you're talking like in a baby voice, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like maybe
Yeah.
eventually.
I don't think so.
Oh no, I don't think that ever works.
But no,
I'm like,
but also I think that's also a reaction to like our energy too.
Yeah.
Like we just are we want to be so in our feminine, so it's like we don't want that kind of vibe, which is fine. I think
Yeah.
that's fair. I think that's just like it's a thing you either get along or don't. You know what I mean?
And I have a question. Like when you, I've been really bad. Like when I've been like gone out on a few dates with somebody, like 2-3 dates, and then I'm like, I'm just not interested in this person, and I'm like,
Oh, I closed the loop.
I saw.
Oh no! Allie, you can't do
I know,
that.
it's so bad.
No, I literally will say, hey, like it's been so fun getting to know you. I do feel like there's more of a friend vibe here in general, but I like wish you the best. Da, 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 da.
I just let them kind of quietly taper off.
No, but that's the worst because like people do that to you and you're like, what
I
happened?
know, but I'm like, I do it to people, so it's okay.
Okay, well, karma, I don't know. I feel like I like to close the loop. There has been a few people that I have like completely fizzled from. But yeah, no, I love sending a little, even the assholes, like even that guy who's like the ice cream thing afterwards, I was like, I think you're a total narcissist. I think you're disgusting. I was like, the fact that you feel like you could talk to me that way is insane. I was like, good luck.
What did he say?
And then he's like, that's fair, blah, blah, blah. And then and I was just like, whatever, block. And then he liked something on Instagram and I was like, please unfollow me. I have zero desire to ever have an interaction with you on any platform or in real life. Like I'll like say stuff like that. I
And
don't
did
care.
he just unfollow you? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Which I was like, great, perfect.
I'm
Get the
scared of
fuck
that
out.
bitch.
Yeah, no, I was like, and I will fucking end you. Just kidding. No, but I was like the one guy, so the surgeon, there was a surgeon I was like dating. He was 29 though, so I was like, I should have known better.
You're 29 and a surgeon? That's pretty great.
In his residency, whatever. But still, yeah. Like again, I was like, okay, like feel like this is a vibe. So he lived in North Carolina and then we chatted. I flew out there to like hang out, had like an amazing weekend. Like I thought. And well, and I think he thought too. But anyway, as soon as I get back, I'm like, ooh, the pull away. I can feel it. Like something shifted. And I like went to Singapore and basically like the energy shifted. I was like, something has happened. So I called him out. I was like, I know something happened. Totally fine. Happy to like call it. But I'm like, I do feel like I would have expected you to like say something or like have a conversation or just tell me what's going on. And he waited 3 days and I was like, ugh. And then he did send me something where he was like, I do think we're in two totally different parts of our life. Like you're extremely successful. It's become like apparent when you were here. Like we're just in different phases. He's like, but with the long distance and I think it'd be too much. And I was like, totally fine. I was like, next time you can just say that.
Right.
Like
right.
you can literally just say that.
I know. I think I need to be better about
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Okay. So we're going to improve on that. Starting at
we're
zero.
gonna start closing the loop. Yeah. Starting at zero, closing the loop.
Yes.
I know.
Being more discerning.
Because I think there's always like a part of me that's like, maybe.
No.
I feel like if it's a maybe, it's a no.
I agree. If it's a maybe, it's a no. Maybe that's the name of this episode.
Maybe.
Hey. Well, that's this episode.
And we'll come back shortly with part 2.